JB Beeson, and I'm 24 years old.
And what are you doing right now to make the world a better place?
What am I doing? Well, I work at the National Youth Advocacy Coalition, and we work with organizations that serve LGBTQ youth. So making the world a better place for queer young people.
And what are some of the things you do with that?
We do trainings and technical assistance. So I actually go out to different organizations across the country and talk to them about what it means to create safe spaces for young people, specifically queer young people of color, different kind of communities, and how they can reach out better and make their services safer for those young people.
And how did you get involved in this type of work?
How did I get involved? I cared a lot, well, in college I cared a lot about doing work for queer youth. I started working in like a camp for queer young people, and it was kind of like it was a free activist and leadership camp for high school students. And that's kind of where I got turned on to doing work for young people to kind of have them know their rights and be empowered.
Was there like a moment of inspiration, or was it kind of just a gradual thing that led you either to the movement or to NYAC in particular?
I think for my work in queer youth, I mean, being a queer young person myself, and then being at this camp where there were 15 young people who were able to be exactly who they were and love each other, and it was kind of like a really inspiring experience, because usually LGBTQ kids or young people feel like they can't be themselves in school and high schools, at home, and this was a place where everybody was allowed to be who they wanted to be, and it was really inspiring to see how fired up they would get, and they were just really accepted each other, and I'm seeking that kind of community in my life.
I know you've done like a lot of work here with the different campaign and with other campaigns. What are some ways that you've had to work across traditional boundaries to get things done?
Traditional boundaries. Well, NYAC is funded by the CDC, so we have to work with, well, we don't have to, but we work with a large array of people. So we work with people in health departments, which can be really successful, and sometimes it's really hard actually to try and go into an area where people really don't like talking about transgender issues and try and bring up the topic. So I know that I'm talking to like a large array of people when I come into the room. Just yesterday, or just last week, I was doing a training for a group of international leaders who do youth work from around the world, and there were people from some different like African countries who were there, who were just saying, it's not natural for you to be gay, like it's a sin for you to be gay, and like I had to stand in the front of that room and talk to people from countries where they felt more accepting of gay people, and then countries where they thought that gay people should be put to death. So it's definitely, you have to reach across different boundaries and just be a human, and that's mostly what works the best for me, is just to say like all I'm asking for is the right to live a happy life, and so that's the work that I do. And that helped, like I think that helped help them understand, and by the end they were all asking me questions and they were interested. So
what are some of the challenges you see facing young people today in our generation?
I mean, there's lots of challenges. I mean, there's this whole issue of like gay marriage, but below that, I mean, before you can even talk about gay marriage, there's healthcare, there's whether or not they can go to school without being bullied. I mean, I'm talking about queer young people. Do you mean all young people?
Either, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe you can touch on both.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, right now, young people, if they can get to college, then they have to figure out how to pay for it. if they get out of college, then they have to find a job. If they finally have a job, then they have to figure out how to pay their student loans back. And that's kind of on like the more privileged end. It's like people don't have the support systems to get them through high school or to get them to school. They don't have health care. They don't have, education system that gives them the support and the learning that we all deserve for free. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot of stuff.
And being someone who got involved at a young age, what advice would you give to a young person who wants to get involved in the political process or their community or youth mobilization? What advice would you give them?
I think there's this, I think there is a practice to follow in the footsteps of adults who easily hate each other, who, the left hates the right, and, it's always two sides, and it really gets tiring, and it's not, like, it doesn't take care of ourselves and our bodies and our relationships. And I think what I would say is that, to take it all with a grain of salt and don't take yourself too seriously. You have to have humor, and you still have to be happy in your life. It can't be all about the politics all the time. And even if it is, you gotta give yourself a break sometimes. Don't burn yourself out.